Imagine investing your heart, your time, your very soul into someone who can't, or simply won't, value you back. It's a silent drain, a slow erosion of your peace, your self-worth, your freedom. This isn't just a story about failed relationships. It's a timeless human struggle wrapped in the quest for validation and love. Through the eyes of Laura, a woman who tirelessly watered a one-sided relationship that refused to bloom, we witness a profound awakening, a moment when the chains of emotional dependence begin to shatter. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom lies not in the approval of others, but in the sovereignty over our own hearts, choosing who deserves to walk beside us, tending first to our own garden before offering flowers to another. The ache of abandonment, often seen as loss, transforms here into a powerful door to growth and liberation, a call to embrace solitude as a teacher rather than a curse. Love, as the Stoics remind us, is never a desperate grasp. It's a balanced exchange, grounded in mutual respect, not in need or validation. Silence and absence aren't voids to be filled, but messages to be heard. Signposts steering us away from harm and toward self-preservation. At its core, this journey is about rediscovering your worth on your own terms, breaking free from the illusion that your value depends on someone else's gaze. It is about planting deep roots of self-love and authenticity, so that no external storm can uproot your peace. By the end, you'll realize that the most radical act of love isn't chasing those who don't cherish you. It's fiercely choosing yourself, embracing your own light, and walking forward with serenity, born from true inner freedom. If this is making sense to you so far, do take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who truly needs to hear this message today. It helps us reach more hearts and minds seeking clarity and strength. We've been watching Laura, a woman who, like so many of us, found herself pouring her very essence into a relationship that offered nothing but emptiness in return. Her journey, though deeply personal, is a mirror reflecting a universal struggle, the human quest for validation and love, often sought in places that only leave us feeling more depleted. We spoke of the silent drain, the slow erosion of peace, self-worth, and freedom that comes from watering a garden that refuses to bloom. But Laura's story, as we're seeing, is not one of perpetual sorrow. It is a profound awakening, a moment when the chains of emotional dependence begin to shatter, replaced by the quiet strength of self-realization. The Stoics, in their profound wisdom, understood this dynamic centuries ago. They taught us that true freedom lies not in the fickle approval of others, but in the unwavering sovereignty over our own hearts. It's about choosing, with deliberate consciousness, who deserves to walk beside us, and crucially, about tending first to our own inner garden before ever offering its blossoms to another. The ache of abandonment, so often perceived as an unbearable loss, transforms in this Stoic lens into a powerful door to growth and liberation, a compelling call to embrace solitude not as a curse, but as a profound and discerning teacher. Love, in the Stoic view, is never a desperate grasp. It is a balanced exchange, grounded in mutual respect, not in the gnawing need for validation or the fear of being alone. And silence or absence is never just a void to be filled, but often a message to be heard, a signpost steering us away from harm and toward the profound preservation of our truest selves. This journey at its very core, is about rediscovering your worth on your own terms, breaking free from the illusion that your value is contingent upon someone else's gaze. It is about planting deep, unshakable roots of self-love and authenticity, so robust that no external storm can ever truly uproot your peace. By the end of this journey, you'll realize that the most radical act of love isn't chasing those who don't cherish you. It's fiercely choosing yourself, embracing your own inherent light, and walking forward with a serenity born from true, unassailable inner freedom. Let's delve deeper into these transformative lessons, seeing how Laura, and by extension, all of us, can internalize them. The illusion of external validation, reclaiming your inner citadel. Laura, for so long, had unconsciously placed the key to her self-worth in another person's hand. Her days were a dance around his moods, her happiness a fragile thing dependent on his fleeting attention or perceived approval. This is the insidious trap of external validation, a mirage that promises satisfaction but delivers only perpetual thirst. Stoicism, however, offers us a powerful counter-narrative, encapsulated in the fundamental principle of the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher, taught us, some things are within our control, while others are not. Your worth, your character, your choices, these are entirely within your domain. Another person's feelings towards you, their actions, their recognition, or lack thereof, these are external, beyond your control. Think about it. When you tie your sense of value to an external variable, be it a partner's affection, a social media like count, a job promotion, or public acclaim, you are, in essence, surrendering your inner peace to forces that are inherently capricious and unreliable. You become a leaf in the wind, buffeted by every changing breeze of circumstance or opinion. Laura's awakening began precisely when she started to internalize this distinction. She saw that she could spend every ounce of her energy trying to earn his love, trying to mold herself into what she thought he wanted, but the outcome would never be hers to command. His capacity or incapacity to value her was his internal landscape, not hers. This realization is not about becoming indifferent to others. It's about understanding where your true power lies. Your power lies in your judgments, your impulses, your desires, and your aversions. It lies in how you choose to respond to the world, not in how the world responds to you. For Laura, this meant a profound shift. Instead of agonizing over his silence, she began to direct her attention inward. She started asking herself, am I living in accordance with my values? Am I treating myself with respect? Am I growing into the person I aspire to be? This wasn't a sudden fix. It was a gradual, often uncomfortable process of rewiring years of conditioning. In our modern world, this lesson is more crucial than ever. We are constantly bombarded with the curated images of perfection, with metrics of approval, likes, comments, followers. It's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our self-worth by these external tallies. But the Stoic reminds us, these are merely external impressions. True worth is an inner architecture, built by your character, your integrity, your virtues. It's your inner citadel, as Marcus Aurelius described it, an impregnable fortress of self, independent of external siege. Reclaiming this inner citadel means recognizing that your value is inherent, unearned, and unlosable simply because of who you are. It exists prior to any external validation and persists regardless of its absence. Tending your own garden, the imperative of self-cultivation. The premise speaks of tending first to our own garden before offering flowers to another. This beautiful metaphor is profoundly Stoic. It's not a call to selfishness, but a fundamental principle of self-preservation and sustainability. Imagine trying to grow beautiful flowers in barren, untended soil. It's impossible. Similarly, you cannot offer genuine, sustained love, strength, or presence to another if your own inner landscape is neglected, parched, and full of weeds. For Laura, tending her own garden meant consciously redirecting the immense energy she had previously expended on chasing another's affection back towards herself. It involved asking, what truly nourishes me? What brings me genuine peace and growth? This wasn't about self-indulgence. It was about self-cultivation, a Stoic duty. Seneca often spoke of the pursuit of wisdom and virtue as the highest good, a lifelong project of self-improvement. This project isn't just for our own benefit. It makes us better citizens, better friends, better partners. Practically, tending your own garden encompasses several vital areas in a modern context, such mental and emotional well-being. This includes setting boundaries, seeking therapeutic support if needed, practicing mindfulness, and actively processing emotions rather than suppressing them. Laura began journaling, a classic Stoic practice, allowing her to observe her thoughts and feelings without judgment, gaining clarity and perspective. Proper nutrition, regular exercise. These are not luxuries, but foundational elements for a resilient mind and body. The Stoics understood the interconnectedness of mind and body. A healthy body supports a clear mind. Personal growth and learning, investing in hobbies, learning new skills, reading, engaging in intellectually stimulating activities. Laura picked up an old passion for painting that she had abandoned, finding immense joy and a sense of accomplishment outside of her relationship. This builds competence and self-esteem, purpose and contribution, finding meaning beyond personal relationships, perhaps through work, volunteering, or creative pursuits. When your life has a broader purpose, the absence of one person doesn't create an existential void. This act of tending one's own garden is the antidote to codependency. It's the recognition that you are a complete, worthy individual on your own. It equips you with the resources to face life's challenges independently, and paradoxically, it makes you a more attractive and capable partner for healthy relationships. When your roots are deep and your soil is rich, you attract abundance, and you can offer genuine, unburdened love rather than desperate need. Abandonment as a catalyst for growth. Embracing amor fati. The initial sting of abandonment is undeniably painful. It feels like a loss, a rejection, a void. For Laura, it initially felt like the end of her world. Yet the Stoic perspective challenges us to reframe this experience, to see it not as a catastrophic ending, but as a potent catalyst for unparalleled growth. This is where the profound concept of amor fati, love your fate, comes into play. It doesn't mean passively accepting misfortune, but actively embracing everything that happens, perceiving it as an opportunity for development, for the strengthening of your character. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The abandonment, which initially seemed like an insurmountable obstacle, became for Laura the very path forward. It forced her to look inward, to confront her fears, and to discover an inner resilience she never knew she possessed. It was a painful gift. Consider this: when you are comfortable, when things are going smoothly, there is often little incentive for profound change or self-examination. It is often through adversity, a job loss, a breakup, a personal setback, that we are compelled to reassess, to learn, and to grow. The loss of that relationship, in Stoic terms, was not a deprivation of something essential, but rather the removal of an external that was not truly within her control anyway. What remained was her capacity to respond, her ability to learn, her choice to become stronger. Laura began to see that the perceived loss freed her. It freed her from the constant anxiety of trying to please someone who couldn't be pleased. It freed her from the drain on her energy and emotions. It freed her to reevaluate what she truly wanted and deserved. This shift in perception is everything. Instead of asking, "Why me?" or "What did I do wrong?" she began asking, "What can I learn from this? And how can I use this experience to become more resilient, more virtuous, more authentically myself?" This active engagement with adversity transforms pain into purpose, sorrow into strength. It is an alchemical process that turns lead into gold, shaping you into a more robust and wiser individual. The wisdom of solitude, a classroom for the self. In our hyper-connected world, solitude is often equated with loneliness, a state to be avoided at all costs. We fill every quiet moment with notifications, entertainment, or the presence of others, fearing the introspection that might arise when we are truly alone. Yet, for the Stoics, solitude was not a void to be dreaded, but a fertile ground for self-discovery, a classroom where the most profound lessons are taught. The premise speaks of embracing solitude as a teacher, not a curse. And this is precisely what Laura discovered on her journey. Initially, the absence of her partner was a deafening silence. Every empty space in her apartment, every unshared meal echoed with loneliness. But as she began to tend her own garden and redefine her sense of worth, she started to consciously choose solitude, not as an escape from pain, but as an opportunity for growth. This is a crucial distinction. It wasn't about wallowing, it was about engaging. In solitude, Laura began to practice profound self-reflection, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. She spent time with her thoughts, observing them, questioning them, rather than being swept away by them. She journaled extensively, articulating her fears, her desires, her insights. She rediscovered her own voice, uncolored by the opinions or expectations of another. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Solitude provides the quiet space necessary to unlearn old, unhelpful patterns and to make room for new, more virtuous ways of being. What does this look like in a modern context? It means deliberately carving out time for yourself, unplugging from digital distractions. It could be a morning walk in nature, a quiet hour spent reading, practicing meditation, or simply sitting in thoughtful silence. These moments aren't about doing nothing. They are about doing the most important work of all, understanding yourself. It's in these quiet spaces that you can process emotions, clarify your values, plan your actions, and build that inner citadel we discussed earlier. Laura found that through solitude, she not only became comfortable in her own company, but actually thrived in it. She learned to discern her own authentic desires from external pressures. She developed a profound sense of self-sufficiency, not needing another person to complete her, but choosing to share her already complete self with those who genuinely resonated with her. Solitude taught her that her happiness was an inside job, and that the richest company she could ever cultivate was her own. Love as a balanced exchange beyond desperate grasp. The Stoic view of love as the premise highlights, is never a desperate grasp born of need or validation. Instead, it is a balanced exchange, grounded in mutual respect and a shared commitment to virtue. For Laura, her previous relationship had been a desperate grasp. She was constantly reaching, constantly giving, hoping to fill a void within herself by securing another's affection. This is a recipe for imbalance and resentment. A Stoic approach to love recognizes that true connection arises between two individuals who are whole and independent in themselves, choosing to walk together to support each other's growth and virtue, rather than clinging to each other out of fear or incompleteness. It's about agape, a selfless, benevolent love that wishes well for the other, without demanding anything in return, yet simultaneously expects mutual respect and contribution. Laura's journey taught her that healthy love isn't about being codependent or sacrificing your self-worth. It's about establishing clear boundaries, communicating needs, and expecting reciprocity. She had previously believed that giving more meant loving more, but she learned that boundless giving without receiving only created an unsustainable dynamic that eroded her own strength. A balanced exchange means mutual respect, recognizing and honoring each other's individuality, autonomy, and values. Sakrof, supporting each other's pursuit of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. True love encourages you to become your best self, not to shrink to fit someone else's expectations. Reciprocity, an equitable give and take of emotional support, effort, and care. It's not a ledger, but a natural flow where both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. Of independence within interdependence, maintaining your distinct identity and personal pursuits, even as you build a shared life. You choose to be together. You don't need to be together to survive. Laura realized that the love she was seeking was not one she had to beg for or manipulate. It was a connection that would naturally arise from mutual admiration and a shared journey of growth. She began to understand that her worth as a partner wasn't dependent on her ability to fix or please someone else, but on her ability to be her authentic, self-respecting self. This shifts the focus from external pursuit to internal readiness. When you are genuinely whole and self-sufficient, you attract relationships that are equally whole and fulfilling, grounded in virtue and respect rather than neediness. Interpreting silence and absence, messages for self-preservation. One of the most painful aspects of a one-sided relationship or a difficult breakup is the silence, the absence. We often interpret these as a personal failing, a sign of our inadequacy, or a punishment. We strive to fill the void, to break the silence, to understand why. But the Stoics offer a powerful reinterpretation. Silence and absence are often, in themselves, profound messages. They are signposts, steering us away from harm and towards self-preservation. Laura had spent countless hours agonizing over unreturned calls, unanswered texts, and the general emotional unavailability of her partner. She interpreted his silence as a challenge, an invitation to try harder, to love deeper, to prove her worth. But the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, prepares us not just for worst-case scenarios, but for the inherent unpredictability of life and the behavior of others. It teaches us to observe reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. In the stark light of Stoic reason, Laura began to see that his silence wasn't about her lack of worth. It was about his lack of investment, his inability or unwillingness to reciprocate. And that, in itself, was a clear communication. The absence of effort, the absence of engagement, the absence of mutual care. These are not voids to be filled by your frantic efforts, but rather powerful signals. They are messages indicating a lack of alignment, a fundamental imbalance that cannot be overcome by your unilateral persistence. This discernment is an act of profound self-love and self-preservation. It takes courage to acknowledge these messages, especially when they contradict our desires. It means having the wisdom to recognize when someone's actions, or lack thereof, are telling you something crucial about their capacity to be in a healthy relationship with you. It means understanding that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to listen to the silence, interpret the absence, and choose to walk away from what is clearly not serving your highest good. In our modern world, with phenomena like ghosting or breadcrumbing, this lesson is acutely relevant. We are often left without explicit closure, grappling with ambiguity. But the Stoic teaches us that clarity often comes not from what is said, but from what is not said and what is not done. When the effort is consistently one-sided, when emotional needs are perpetually unmet, when communication is consistently absent, these are not mysteries to be solved. They are messages to be respected. They are invitations to redirect your precious energy toward those who show up, who engage, and who value your presence. Reclaiming your worth, the unshakable roots of self-authenticity. The ultimate destination of this journey is the reclamation of your inherent worth. For Laura, it meant moving beyond the illusion that her value depended on someone else's gaze. It meant understanding that she was already whole, already complete, already deserving of love and respect, simply by virtue of being. This isn't arrogance. It's a profound understanding of the intrinsic nature of self-worth, a core Stoic belief in the inherent dignity of every human being, regardless of external circumstances or the opinions of others. Building an inner citadel of self-worth means rooting yourself so deeply in your own values, your own authenticity, and your own reasoned understanding of what constitutes a good life, that no external storm can uproot your peace. It's about aligning your actions with your virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When you live in accordance with these principles, your self-respect grows independently of external approval. Laura's transformation wasn't just about escaping a bad relationship. It was about building a powerful, authentic relationship with herself. She learned to define her own values, what truly mattered to her. What kind of life did she want to live? What kind of person did she want to be? Act in alignment. She began making choices that reflected her values, even if they were difficult. This built integrity and self-trust. Practice self-compassion. She learned to be kind to herself, to acknowledge her struggles without judgment, and to celebrate her small victories. This is crucial. Stoicism is not about being emotionless, but about managing emotions with reason and treating oneself as a deserving member of the human community. Embrace her authenticity. She shed the masks she wore to please others, revealing her true self, imperfections and all. This is the ultimate freedom, to be unapologetically you. When you reclaim your worth, you cease to chase. You cease to beg. You cease to compromise your integrity for fleeting attention. Instead, you stand tall, rooted in your own being, radiating an authentic light that naturally attracts those who genuinely resonate with your true self. You realize that the most profound validation you can ever receive comes from within, from the quiet confidence of knowing who you are and living in accordance with your highest ideals.
The radical act of fiercely choosing yourself. Ultimately, Laura's journey, and the journey we all must embark on at various points in our lives, culminates in the radical act of fiercely choosing yourself. This isn't an act of selfishness in the conventional sense. It is an act of profound self-respect, a demonstration of wisdom, and a commitment to your own flourishing. It means recognizing that your well-being, your peace, and your authenticity are non-negotiable. Choosing yourself means having the courage to walk away from what diminishes you, even when it's painful or familiar. It means setting boundaries with unwavering resolve. It means prioritizing your own growth, your own values, and your own peace above the fleeting approval or comfort of others. It means tending your own garden with diligence and care, knowing that its beauty is a reflection of your commitment to yourself. This is the very essence of Stoic freedom, the freedom to govern your own internal world, to choose your responses, to cultivate your character, and to live a life aligned with reason and virtue, regardless of external circumstances. It is the liberation from emotional dependence, from the tyranny of external validation, and from the illusion that your happiness lies in someone else's hands. You are not defined by who leaves you, but by who you choose to become in their absence. You are not valued by someone else's gaze, but by your own unwavering commitment to your inherent dignity. The most profound love story you will ever experience is the one you write with yourself, a story of self-discovery, resilience, and unshakable self-worth. As Epictetus so powerfully stated, no man is free who is not master of himself. Are you truly free? Are you the master of your own heart, your own choices, your own peace? Or are you still allowing external forces to dictate your worth and your happiness? The path forward is clear. Choose yourself. Fiercely, unapologetically, and with the profound understanding that this is not an end to love, but the beginning of a truly authentic and meaningful one, built on the solid bedrock of your own sovereign heart. If this resonated with you, if it stirred something within your own journey, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for more insights, and share your reflections in the comments below. What does choosing yourself mean to you in your current life? I'd love to hear your thoughts.